Hi there, Bren White for Reality 101, Episode 16. Thank you for joining me. Let's continue. Last time we left off reading in Psalm 119. It happens that King David and King Solomon, two of the greatest kings to ever live on the earth, shared much wisdom with us, much about truth and discernment. And this has actually been useful throughout human history. People who have some understanding, especially those who are leaders, have paid attention to these passages that are historical and have great spiritual depth to them. And they help to anchor us as human beings. That's the whole point of David and Solomon writing these things in Psalms and Proverbs in particular. And so I just want to continue reading a little bit, and then we'll finish out with a quick summary. In Psalm 119, in verse 125, David says, "Give discernment to me, your servant, then I will understand your laws. Lord, it is time for you to act, for these evil people have violated your instructions. Truly, I love your commands more than gold, even the finest gold. Each of your commandments is right. That is why I hate every false way." Now pay attention to what great King David was saying. "Your laws are wonderful. No wonder I obey them. The teaching of your word gives light." We've talked about this quite a bit. The truth provides light, light for your path. The truth coming from the one who actually created light, who is the light. And he brings light into the world, just as we discussed concerning Jesus Christ bringing the light of God, his word, in a living fashion into this world. "I pant with expectation, longing for your commands. Come and show me your mercy as you do for all who love your name. Guide my steps by your word, so I will not be overcome by evil." And then in verse 138, "Your laws are perfect and completely trustworthy." In Psalm verse 142, he says, "Your justice is eternal and your instructions are perfectly true." Verse 144, "Your laws are always right," again, because of the source. He is the source of all good, of all things, and he, when he speaks, what he says is always right. This you can count on. You can count on. Now, as we talked about before, this provides first principles for us. This answers the question, what can you be sure of? What do you know for sure is true? And this is what King David is saying to you and I. He can count on these things because what comes from God, the maker and sustainer of all things, is true. It's always correct. This is not true with human beings, only with the source of all things. "I pray with all my heart. Answer me, Lord," verse 145. "I cry out to you to rescue me. I rise early before the sun is up. I cry out for help and put my hope in your words. I stay awake through the night thinking about your promise." Remember this one. "In your faithful love, O Lord, hear my cry. Let me be revived by following your regulations." You and I we will flourish when we follow what our Maker says, because he designed us for that. We are meant to live by the truth. by every word that comes from his mouth, exactly the way Jesus said in Matthew 4. David goes on to say, lawless people are coming to attack me. They live far from your instructions. But you are near, O Lord, and all your commands are true. Once again, David. This is what David knows. If it comes from God, it is true. If it's a promise from God, it is true. Whatever God says is right. Always. Always. This is what you and I are supposed to live by. He goes on and he says in verse 158, seeing these traitors makes me sick at heart, says King David. Seeing these traitors makes me sick at heart, because they care nothing for your word. Look around in the world today. See how I love your commandments, Lord. Give back my life because of your unfailing love. The very essence of your words is truth. All your just regulations will stand forever. Powerful people harass me without cause, but my heart trembles only at your word. He fears no one else. His heart only trembles at the truth of God, which stands forever, which is eternally true. I rejoice in your word like one who discovers a great treasure. I hate and abhor all falsehood, but I love your instructions. God's guidance. Now, if you haven't read Psalm 23 lately, I want to encourage you to read that, because that is what David is talking about earlier on in terms of God leading him, guiding him, shepherding him every single day. He goes on to say in chapter 121, he says, I look up to the mountains. Does my help come from there? My help comes from the Lord, God himself, who made heaven and earth. This is the great king warrior of all time, David. The Lord himself watches over you. He says, he will not let you stumble. The one who watches over you will not slumber. He doesn't sleep. Indeed, he who watches over Israel never slumbers or sleeps. Now, this is one of the references about the God who never sleeps. He is watching over his people at all times. The Lord stands beside you as your protective shade. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon at night. The Lord keeps you from all harm and watches over your life. The Lord keeps watch over you as you come and go, both now and forever. And because of this, King David says, I lift my eyes up. I lift my eyes. I look up. I lift my eyes to you, O God, enthroned in heaven. And we know from passages in the New Testament, especially in Acts and other passages, that Jesus is on the throne in heaven, the right hand of God the Father. He is reigning right now. He's in control of all things. And even though some people in some governments and different positions in the world think that they have control, they do not. They do not. Jesus Christ has all control, all authority right now. Right now. And so people who are in power right now would do well to pay attention to the God who is in control of all things, that they will give an account to at the end of their lives. This is more wisdom, talking about discernment, wisdom, about truth. The essence of what God says is truth. And one of the things that we'll do as we wrap up in this series, probably a few episodes down the way, we will identify at least 12 first principles, things that we have noted together in this series that are really, it's a list that you and I can come back to repeatedly to know what is true in every situation. Now, I also am going to identify specific lies, big lies, that are still predominant in the world today. And these things have been going on for a long time. They have been magnified by technology. Satan is continuing to run his 4D strategy to destroy good things and to destroy people, to harm people, to destroy families and communities and nations and churches. He's still doing his thing, but not for long. And Jesus Christ is sovereign. There's no doubt about that. And so it's really just a matter of time. And we may be coming into final days. It's been the end of the age for a little while. So we do not know when Jesus Christ is coming back, and you do not know how many days or hours you have to live. So this makes what we're talking about very, very crucial to you. You need to know what the truth is about you, about your life, about God, about why you're here on the earth, what the purpose is of all of that, and what you need to do with your life every single day because of it. So we'll finish this out as we go along and identify those first principles. We really have done it together. We'll just do a summary here pretty soon. But I just wanted to share those things about discernment and wisdom and about the truth. God bless you. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.